What's up, my writing friends? Welcome back to my AuthorTube channel. I'm Autumn Ashley, and today I am going to be doing an overview of what I was doing while I was tracking my writing for 71 days. And I actually wrote all of this out on a sheet of paper, but it's a little messy, so I just transferred everything into the little chart that you're seeing here. But I'm going to go into the specifics of this chart a little bit later. For this experiment, which wasn't something that I intended to turn into an experiment, but it was something I had a lot of fun with when I first did this back in September, and I thought it would be really fun to track for November. And I didn't discuss this before at all, just in case it didn't work out or if I didn't feel like I had enough to say about this topic. But boy, I have a lot to say. Always. I want to take my time and explain what this was, why I did it, and how I feel about it. So here we go. Before I get into what this was and my feelings towards it, let me just backpedal a little bit and talk about the reasons why I decided to track my writing. Flashback. With me being new into the community, I'm just going to pause this right here and say that I didn't mean now with me being new, because I've been in the community for about a year and a half now. But when I first started in the community, I was so hung up on word counts and thinking that that was the only way that you could track writing progress. I was so hung up on that for the longest time. This dates back to NaNoWriMo of 2020. I think I'm slowly starting to get rid of the habit of always thinking about word counts. And being new back into the writing world, I was like, let's try to track our progress by doing word counts. And one thing that I had noticed when I did NaNoWriMo last year in 2020, that word counts is very difficult for me. It was something that I still tried to push at myself, and I felt like it was burning myself out. And I feel like my quality of the writing was suffering because I was so focused on trying to get these high word counts, when really in reality I should have been taking a step back and trying to just take my time with my writing. Since I was so new at it, it would have been more beneficial to take my time with the writing versus just, slapping all the words on the page. So that's how I led up to this idea of like tracking my writing each day versus trying to hit a word count each day. And there are other ways that I can try to track my writing too. I actually think this is probably going to be the only way that's going to work for me, and I just wanted to share this. This might already be a method out there that helps other people, and if it is something that you do or you have tried before, let me know down in the comments. One more little why I also started to do this. Once I finished Act 2 of my Draft 1, and I will leave that video as well as the entire playlist linked down below. So once I finished my second act, I decided that for my third act, I wanted to stick to the deadline that I gave myself. And that deadline was a new deadline. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to achieve that first deadline that I set for myself. I decided to set this deadline, and I wanted to reach it. That deadline to finish my entire manuscript was October 15th of 2021. The beginning of September 6th to be exact, I decided to write every single day out on a sheet of paper with a box next to it. And for each day that I wrote for either 6 hours, 20 minutes, I wrote a paragraph, I wrote a sentence, I had an idea that popped into my mind and I was able to jot it down on my cell phone or in my journal, I would bubble in that square green. And if I did not touch the manuscript, if I did not do any sort of writing on any particular day, I would bubble in that square red. You get the idea. And the whole point of me doing this was just to track my writing, just to see if there was a pattern in my writing. Were there more days where I would write in a row? Were there days where I would take several days off in a row? Were those days in correlation to the days that I worked? I would say for the most part, it definitely went hand in hand with the days that I work, I don't write, which that was something I already knew, but I just wanted to see it written out. That's all I would do. I would not track word counts. I would not say I finished 6 chapters in a day, which never happened. Did I write or did I not write? And that's how I kept that. After the whole month and a half of doing this from September 6th to October 15th, looking at the final result, honestly, was extremely satisfying. I loved seeing the progress over a month and a half's time. So I decided that I wanted to try this for NaNoWriMo this year. And since I was a rebel, I obviously did not write every day. I thought that it was interesting that once I started tracking my writing and I wanted to write a little bit more each day or write more days in a week, you can see the progress that I've already made. When I wanted to track my writing from the beginning, as you can see in Act 3 for Draft 1 from September 6th to October 15th, that the squares that are green and red, it looks like I am very much a slacker when it comes to all of the green squares. So I thought that was interesting. And then once I get into my NaNoWriMo writing tracker for October 31st to November 30th, it looks about split, but there is definitely more red than there is green. But if you compare it to what I had done from September to October, it has definitely improved. So I am really happy that I did this and I have seen some results. And also, as a side note, I just want to say that from October 25th to the 28th, the reason those squares are colored in blue, that is because I was actually reading Save the Cat on those days. So it wasn't necessarily writing, but I was still working on something that had to do with my story and just my writing in general. But I didn't want to include it as writing as a green square because it's not exactly writing, it's reading. I thought that doing it this way for me worked out really well because it wasn't a matter of,
oh my gosh, I have to write today, I have to get 100 words, I have to get 10,000 words or whatever.
I didn't have to worry about trying to keep track of words or trying to hit a word count. That to me was just, ooh, hit the camera. And to me, that was just so refreshing. It was just so refreshing not having to worry about hitting word counts or writing every single day for an intention to set for myself. So I loved tracking my writing, doing it this way. I felt like tracking my writing, whether I wrote in a day or if I didn't write, I felt like that worked for me because it wasn't stressful and the end results for me were so satisfying. The first time I did this, and it was definitely an eye-opener about how much I actually don't write versus what NaNoWriMo looked like, and there was definitely some improvement. I'm kind of giving myself benefit of the doubt saying it's split, but really there's still more red than there is green, which is totally fine because this was an unexpected experiment, and I think that this was really awesome to see the progress and to see how well my writing is actually going. And as a side note, I could have been writing more in NaNoWriMo because it was NaNoWriMo, but tracking it for those 2 separate months, or from September 6th to October 15th, and then through the entire month of November for NaNoWriMo, I felt like it was a good comparison. I really enjoyed doing this, and I do want to do something similar to this in the future when I start editing my first draft, which that'll be fun. Oh yeah, freeze! I totally forgot that I wanted to film this video before my revision video. So my revision video is going to be next week. Totally misled you on that one. So I hope no one was waiting too much for my vlog on starting my revision process and how I'm going to do that. That is going to be next week's video for sure, I promise. I forgot I wanted to film this video instead, and I'm so happy that I was finally able to share this process with you guys. I really enjoyed it, and it might be something that is common. Maybe it's something that people have done before. I don't know. I always feel like everyone always talks about word counts, and I felt like this was a good alternative, at least for myself, to try and do something a little bit different versus tracking word counts. I wanted to find a method that worked for me, and I felt like this worked for me, at least for this little bit of time, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Trying this was completely unplanned. I had no intentions on doing something like this when I originally started to track my writing. I did it just to make sure I stayed on track to finish my draft 1 and that I hit that deadline that I set for myself. And then seeing that end result of the days that I wrote and the days that I didn't write, it was kind of interesting. I'm definitely going to continue to do this in the future. I just wanted to share this little piece of my journey because I felt like it's going to start changing my writing, and I like the way that it did change. And you can see change just by looking at what I did from September 6th to October 15th to October 31st to November 30th. If you found this beneficial, if you thought that this would be something that you would like to try one day, please let me know. I would love to watch it. I would love to see how your progress goes, or if this is a method that other people have used, which I'm sure it's a method that someone has used at some point in time. I'm not this smart to have come up with this by myself on my own. Let me know if you've heard of actually just tracking your writing day by day and circling in or checking off boxes when you do or when you don't write in a day. But that's gonna be it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you subscribed, and you can be part of this writing journey. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.